Why my CKD has not returned after 2016, Part 1, number 1601, April 18, 2026, Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation, Category, CKD. Preface. After developing the TSI Triggering Sensitivity Index proxy as an early warning tool for strokes, I extended this concept to both cardiovascular disease CVD and chronic kidney disease CKD. Developed a simplified cardiorenal warning indicator, TSI CardioRenal, by replacing one out of three influential variables in the stroke model. In the TSI stroke model, pulse pressure PP equals SBP dBP is used to represent vascular stiffness for the cardiorenal system. I replaced PP with BMI because obesity is one of the most fundamental drivers of metabolic disorders, including diabetes and hypertension. After this modification, the new index becomes TSI CardioRenal equals BMI 25 SBP 120 100 amplifier 70. For my case in this formula, BMI represents long-term structure or metabolic load. SBP represents mechanical vascular loading. EG represents cumulative glucose exposure damage. I selected 100 mg VL as the normalization factor for daily average glucose EG, which is a conservative glucose reference level. I also selected 70 as the multiplier coefficient for my case. Instead of 100 to 120 used in the TSI stroke model, the purpose of using 70 is to produce a break-even TSI value around 100, which is intuitive and easy for patients to understand. When I applied this TSI CardioRenal proxy to my kidney-related biomarker data from 2010 to 2011, a period when my metabolic condition was severely uncontrolled, the calculated TSI exceeded several hundreds. This extremely high value resulted from the triple multiplicative interactions of elevated BMI, elevated glucose, and elevated SBP. Each variable exceeded its normal range significantly, producing a much stronger nonlinear amplification. For example, when my health state in 2010 was at BMI equals 31 and 31/25 equals 1.24 SBP equals 189 and 189 120ths equals 1.58 Ag equals 297 and 297 100ths equals 297, my TSI CardioRenal in 2010 became 1.24 times 1.58 times 2.97 equals 5.8. Then, 5.8 times 70 equals 406, which is an extraordinarily high value, indicating that my cardiorenal system was under extremely high stress and at very high risk for progression in 2010. Similarly, my health state in 2011 was at BMI equals 31 and 31/25 equals 1.24 SBP equals 170 and 170 120ths equals 1.42 Ag equals 250 and 250 100ths equals 2.5. My TSI CardioRenal in 2011 became 1.24 times 1.42 times 2.5 equals 4.3937, then 4.3937 times 70 equals 307, which is also a very high value, indicating that my cardiorenal system remained under severe stress and continued to carry elevated CKD risk in 2011. In addition, my early collected dataset before 2013 was less complete compared to the highly structured daily data collected after 2014. Therefore, the primary study period of this paper focuses on the period of past 14 years from 2013 to 2026. Suitability range of TSI for three-variable multiplicative structure. Newton's law of motion contains two variables. F equals m times ATZ contains three interacting variables. TSI varies as BMI times glucose times SBP. Because three variables are multiplied together, the amplification effect becomes stronger than in a two-variable system, when all three variables deviate from normal levels simultaneously. The combined output can increase rapidly due to their complex nonlinear biomedical interactions. This characteristic explains why C values can become extremely large during severely unhealthy metabolic periods, when obesity, glucose, and blood pressure are all elevated. Multiplicative models are most suitable within the normal physiological operating range, where biomarkers are normal, slightly elevated, or moderately reduced. In this region, TSI reflects gradual accumulation of metabolic and vascular stress, similar to fatigue behavior observed in physics. This situation is suitable enough for a solid disease trend analysis or an observation of a longitudinal trajectory of phenomena. However, when biomarkers move into extreme ranges, either excessively high or excessively low, The biomedical system no longer behaves like a fatigue process but approaches a rupture or collapse condition. In real biomedical systems, extremely abnormal values often correspond to acute crisis or life-threatening states. Under these conditions, numerical amplification of TSI becomes less meaningful because urgent medical attention is required regardless of my TSI model output. Therefore, TSI is most useful as a warning indicator within the normal to moderately abnormal range, where gradual deterioration or gradual improvement can still be observed and managed. Based on sufficient longitudinal data collected after 2013-2014, the interpretation is reasonable within the scope of a single subject biomedical case study, such as CKD or CVD. This particular CKD study also explains why my 5 cardiovascular episodes between 1994 and 2024 have not reappeared after 2013 up to the present time, 2026. Longitudinal results of TSI CardioRenal. My calculated TSI CardioRenal values show the following trend. 2012, approximately 1 to 5 to a 1 for 2019, gradual decline into TH range of 7090. 2020 to 2025, mostly stable between 5070 to 026, slight increase to about 61. Still within a relatively low range. This minor increase resulted from my glucose rising by about 10% after my stroke in June 2025, associated with neuroplasticity recovery. At the same time, BMI decreased from approximately 28 to 24, and later to about 21. SBP decreased from approximate L 150 mmHg to 113 mHg. EG decreased from approximately 135 mg VL to about 97 to 112 mg VL. From a systems viewpoint, the combined metabolic stress decreased, the cardiorenal load decreased, and the trajectory of the system moved toward a low-risk operating region. Therefore, this CKD risk case study illustrates that when major metabolic stressors decrease simultaneously, TSI of cardiorenal also decreases, and the biomedical system moves away from a high-risk zone. This observed TSIC or downward behavior is consistent with the intended function of a warning tool. It also explains why both my cardiovascular and renal conditions largely stabilized after 2016. Incidentally, my viscoelastic ENERG results also show that the year 2016, when my accumulated VMT energy reached approximately 80%, represents the turning point of my cardiorenal trajectories. Unfortunately, another deadly threat, stroke, was brewing beneath the surface inside my brain. My past 36 years of diabetes, particularly the first 20 years from 1990 through 2009, contributed around 91% of the total vascular damage, while the following 16 years from 2010 through 2025 contributed the remaining 9%, leading to calcification of cerebral microvessels. An acute hypertension episode of 175 mmHg on June 21, 2025 triggered hemorrhagic stroke near the pontine region. This finding allowed me to finally and fully understand the danger posed by long-term diabetes. Combined with obesity over for decades, hypertension served as the triggering event, not the underlying structural cause of damage. This is part 1.